How's it going, guys? Randall aka Shizukats here on the Tresses Collectibles channel, and today's video is going to be about the upcoming long-awaited Hololive set. I'm sure a lot of you guys are super excited about this release, both Weiss Schwarz players and Hololive fans alike, and today's video is intended to give you some of the tools you need to hit the ground running when the set drops this Friday. As the title suggests, I'm going to be giving you guys one tip for each of the Hololive girls in the set, whether it be just highlighting a powerful card, how to build a deck around a specific character, or strong synergies with other cards. Hopefully by the end of this video, no matter who your Hololive Oshi is, you'll have some ideas on how you can maximize their potential when it comes to playing them in Weiss Schwarz. If you want to skip around to specific members, there will be timestamps in the description and pinned comment so you can find exactly who you're looking for. Now then, let's get started. Starting with Gen 0, we have Sora. The cards we'll be highlighting for Sora are her level 2 support and level 3 climax combo. The level 2 Sora has a change ability, allowing you to bring out the level 3 earlier than usual. When you do this, this also activates the level 3 Sora's ability to bring out another copy of herself from the deck, which in turn activates yet again to bring out a third copy. This allows you to bring out triple level 3 Soras while still at level 2. However, this play only works if you have 2 more Soras in your deck to bring out. To ensure you have enough copies in the deck, you can use the level 0 Roboco to shuffle back 2 Soras from your waiting room. Speaking of Roboco, let's take a look at her fusion from the trial deck. Just like the Sora we just looked at, the fusion combo allows you to play a level 3 character while still at level 2. The way fusion works is you take the level 2 Roboco and another specific card called Proud Roboco-san, stack them on top of each other, and then place the target level 3 Roboco from your deck on top of both of them. Proud Roboco-san is a level 0 from the trial deck, but there's actually another card in the booster pack, a level 1 character card simply called Roboco-san, whose name also counts as Proud Roboco-san while she's in play. This gives you more valid cards in your deck to utilize for the fusion effect. Next up, we have Mike's favorite Hololive member, Suisei. Her level 3 can be played early at level 2 while you have 4 or more Hololive characters already in play, but she also allows you to ignore color restrictions at the same time. This allows her to be used in any Hololive deck you want, no matter what colors you're already using. Additionally, she gains offensive power based on the number of Hololive characters you have, letting her reach a ceiling of 11,000 power, on par with other similar early plays like Aqua from Konosuba. Normally, Suisei will be the 5th and final character you play due to requiring 4 characters already on the board, so playing multiple Suisei in the same turn will usually mean having to play over a character. However, if you have the 2 pieces of the Roboco fusion on the board, play Suisei to the 5th slot and then use Roboco's fusion ability, you now have another empty slot that you can use to play a second copy of Suisei. Lastly in Gen 0, we have Miko. One of Miko's most noteworthy cards is her level 1 climax combo. The combo itself is fairly ordinary, but what makes it special is that it's on a standby climax. Standby lets you bring out a character whose level is 1 higher than your current level, which means you can bring out level 2s while you're still at level 1. And you know what that means, right? Yup. That means you can bring out cards like the Sora Assist or Roboco Fusion at level 1, potentially letting you bring out the level 3 Sora or level 3 Roboco as early as level 1. Try using Miko with either of these level 3 packages when constructing a deck based around Generation 0. First up in Gen 1 we have Matsuri, and the card we're highlighting for her is this level 0. She can only use one of her 2 abilities within a single turn, either her Brainstorm effect or her Power Pump, since both of them require resting her as part of the cost. However, having the flexibility between either of these 2 effects makes her a powerful option throughout the game. If you feel you're in a position where you need more cards or need to go through the deck, use her Brainstorm. If you're good on cards, you can give additional power instead. First Generation has a central theme of using act abilities in order to unlock the rest of the deck's potential, and having access to a flexible card like Matsuri is a powerful asset for that strategy. One particular strong card to combo with the Matsuri is this level 1 Mel. When you use an act ability, she gains an additional 1500 power and an ability for the rest of the turn that can sometimes yield a free extra stock. Either of Matsuri's 2 abilities can proc the Mel, so use whichever ability fits the situation. Stacking Matsuri and Mel's power pumps can bring her up to a strong 7500 attacker, or you can use the Brainstorm effect and maybe Mel can refund the stock that you used for that Brainstorm. Next up is Aki Rosenthal. Keeping on 1st Gen's theme of using act abilities, we'll be looking at her 1-1 level assist. Apart from being a support character, she also has a very useful second ability. When you use an act ability, you can look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck, choose one of them to keep on top of the deck and send the other to waiting room. This can be combined with character backups, which are act abilities, so you can make it easier to cancel your opponent's incoming attacks by taking a non-climax card out of your top 2. One notable counter that you can combine with this is the 1/1 Mel from the trial deck. When Mel's backup is used, you can use Mel's effect first to filter away the top card, and then use Aki's ability afterwards for further filtering, making the incoming attack more likely to be cancelled. Hachima has some very unique cards, one of which is the Hachima Beam backup. This is what we call a rest counter, since using the backup can allow you to rest one of your opponent's characters, making them lose an entire attack. However, this ability comes at a hefty cost of discarding 4 additional character cards from your hand. We recommend running this Hachima in defensive decks that can generate huge amounts of card advantage going into the late game, as opposed to decks that want to dump a bunch of resources on powerful finisher attacks. Great candidates for this are the Rushia or Kanata level 3s from the Gen 3 and Gen 4 trial decks respectively, both of which can generate massive amounts of hand if left unchecked, and also have easy access to the Hachima backup itself. Rounding off Gen 1, we have Fubuki, who is also in Gamers. As such, we'll only be looking at one Fubuki card in this video. For Fubuki, we have her level 0, a profile which we call Fukujiro after this card from Gun Gale Online. When she's sent from stage to the waiting room, you can discard a card to look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 card from among them that is level 1 or higher, add it to hand, and send the rest to the waiting room. This effect is extremely powerful as it gives you hand fixing that doesn't cost any stock, and also gives you a great way to go through multiple cards in your deck. While the selection isn't super great since you only have the top 4 to choose from and can't grab level 0s, the ability does have the distinction of being able to grab event cards, which are normally quite hard to get into your hand consistently. Both the Gen 1 and Gamers trial decks have level 1 events that can be further converted into different cards, so consider running Fubuki alongside these or some of the other powerful events in Hololive. Now on to Gen 2. This generation focuses on colors and the experience requirement. By having specific level cards or specific color cards in your level zone, you can unlock the full potential of this generation. In particular, Gen 2 really wants to get the Aqua level 3 combo into the level zone as early as possible, as this unlocks abilities that require blue in level, such as the level 1 Subaru, abilities that require number-based experience, such as the level 1 Aqua, as well as cards that specifically require the Aqua level 3 in the level zone, such as the Climax Combo level 2 Shion. In order to maximize consistency in getting the Aqua into your level zone, a great card to run is this level 0 Aqua. She's a strong 3500 power while in the front row center slot, and when she's sent from stage to waiting room, you can pay 1 stock and put any Hololive character from your waiting room to the bottom of your clock. Then look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck and add any Hololive characters revealed to your hand. This is amazing in terms of card economy, letting you replace the 1 lost Aqua with up to 2 more cards, so you're never running out. However, the cost of the effect is also very important. The fact that Aqua lets you clock any Hololive character from your waiting room means that you can consistently get the level 3 Aqua into your damage so that you can send it to level, or get whatever colors you might need for other plays down the line. This Aqua is an extremely powerful card that we recommend running in basically any Hololive deck, not just one based around Generation 2. Next up is Shion. If you happen to miss the correct card to put into your level zone, you can utilize the Shion Brainstorm to fix the problem. Her ability lets you swap a Gen 2 character in level with a Gen 2 character in your waiting room, making sure you always have your experience requirements met. She's also a Rest Self Brainstorm 5, which is uncommon and very powerful, but it comes with a downside that she cannot stand if you have 1 or less cards in clock at the start of your turn. This can be circumvented with help from the trial deck Aqua level 0, which has an additional part of her effect that lets you stand a character if you have 1 or less cards in clock, which will allow you to stand the Shion and use her Brainstorm ability. Alongside the Shion Brainstorm is another powerful back row option in this level 0 Choco. She can rest herself to give a 2000 power pump as long as you meet the experience 2 requirement, which can be met with just the Aqua level 3 as mentioned earlier. Her other effect activates when you trigger a climax, letting you discard a climax to add one of the top 2 cards of your deck to your hand. Aqua's level 3 climax is a Pants Climax, with the effect to salvage a climax from waiting room when it gets triggered, immediately setting you up to use Choco Sensei's effect, filter that climax back out of your hand, and pick up something better from the top 2. Next up we have Ayame. Her level 3 support is, in my opinion, one of the strongest cards in Hololive. She can be early played at level 2 if you have blue and yellow in your level zone, but remember that you still need to fulfill the red requirement to play her, since she herself is red. She gives 1500 power to all of your other Hololive characters and has an extremely powerful on-play ability, letting you swap your opponent's characters on the board with lower level characters from their waiting room. In the current state of Weiss Schwarz, most decks will have early play level 3s that are used to dominate the mid-game, such as the Sora and Roboco that we mentioned during the Gen 0 segment. But you can use Ayame to knock them down a peg and take full control of the game. One unique tip that you can use for the Ayame is that you don't actually have to shrink 2 separate characters. Since the ability says that you resolve the effect 2 times in a row, you can actually shrink one of your opponent's characters into something smaller level, and then shrink that same character again into something even smaller. Finally, we have everyone's favorite VTuber duck, Subaru. Subaru, level 3, heals on play and has an on-attack burn effect. If you have a blue, yellow, and red card in your level zone, on attack you can pay 2 to reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's an event or Hololive character, you burn 2 to your opponent. This card has really good synergy with the level 3 Aqua Climax combo. First of all, their burn abilities have different costs. Aqua uses cards from your hand, while Subaru uses cards from your stock. It's good to diversify your costs when creating a finisher package so you're not using too much of one resource. Secondly, Aqua's burn ability can be used to guarantee Subaru's burn effect goes off, since part of the effect lets you look at the top 2 cards of your deck and rearrange them in any order, making sure a Hololive character or event is on top when it's Subaru's turn to attack. Alright, next, let's take a look at gamers. First up is Korone, and we'll be taking a look at her level 1 and level 3 climax combos. Her level 1 comes from the trial deck and is a very powerful card, letting you assign on reverse search to any of your characters. This means that as long as you can get 1 reverse on an opposing character, you can resolve up to 3 Korone combos in a single turn. Her level 3 can grab an event from waiting room on play by paying 1 stock, and has a burn combo that deals 2 damage. What's really cool about these 2 cards is that they actually use the same climax, meaning you can just throw in 1 copy of the Korone combo into any deck that's already running the level 1 without using up more of your climax slots. Also, Korone's level 3 does shuffle back a climax into the opponent's deck at the end of her attack, which potentially makes it harder to deal damage, but if you attack with her last, the climax gets shuffled into the deck after all of your damage has been done, making it much less of a downside. Okayu's level 1 combo is another enticing option. She lets you look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, choose one of them to add to your hand, and send the rest to your waiting room. What's cool about this combo is that you don't have to show your opponent what card you're adding, and you can also add any kind of card to your hand, character, event, or climax. This means that you can grab more copies of Okayu's Gold Bar Climax to try to go for back-to-back turns of combo, or even grab copies of the Gamer's event to try to dig further into your deck. If you want to go for this strategy, we recommend running a salvage brainstorm like Matsuri, since the Okayu combo and Gamer's event will end up filling the waiting room very quickly, and also so you can pick up more Okayus after they get sent to waiting room, since her defensive power is quite low and she's very likely to get run over. Lastly, we have Mio, so let's take a look at her level 2 and level 3 climax combos. Just like Korone, these 2 operate on the same climax, so if you want to, you could run 4 different climax combos in the same deck while only using 2 different actual climaxes. Mio's level 3 from the trial deck is both a healer and finisher. Her combo lets you look at 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck, get rid of any climaxes, and put the clean damage right back on top, while also gaining 2000 power until the end of the opponent's next turn. Her level 2 lets you gain an additional stock, effectively refunding the cost of putting the level 2 into play, while also grabbing a copy of the level 3 from your waiting room. In a deck using Mio, you want to be seeing her Gold Bar Climax turn after turn after turn once you hit level 2, so that you can use her combos again and again throughout the mid and late game. Here's one last bonus tip for gamers since we didn't double feature Fubuki. Mio's Juggling level 0 has an ability that lets you pay 1 to get the Gamer's event from your waiting room whenever you play a climax. This combos extremely well with Gamer's climax combos like Okayu and Mio, which are both on gold bars. you'll constantly have climaxes ready in your hand so you can repeatedly grab back copies of the event while pumping out consistent damage. Additionally, Mio gives a 500 point boost to all of your other characters during your own turn, and whenever you play a character, you can sneak a peek at the top card of your deck. This can be useful information for effects like the Mio level 2, where you would put the top card of your deck into your stock, but you don't get to look at it. This is something that Weiss players call blind stock. However, with help from the Mio level 0, you can know exactly what card you're sending to stock, so it's not blind. Gen 3 plays a much more generalist strategy compared to the other generations. Cards like Pekora and Marine Climax combos are very solid and playable into many different kinds of decks. However, Gen 3 does have a few cute tricks, so let's take a look at those. First, we have Pekora. Her level 0 support gives 500 power to all of your other Hololive characters, and when she's placed on stage from hand, you can marker a Hololive character from your waiting room underneath her. During your turn, if she would be sent from the stage to the waiting room while she has a marker, you get to bring her back for free. This is useful when combined with the other Generation 3 characters, who each have an effect that sacrifices one of your own characters to get some sort of benefit. Use them in conjunction with this Pekora to get lots of free value. Unfortunately, this does mean that Pekora is going to be dying. A lot. Pain Peko. Noel's level 3 early play has an ability that gives her a massive 4500 power boost and anti-backup until the end of the opponent's next turn, allowing her to beat over even your opponent's strongest characters without being contested. However, as we've seen in previous sets like Kaguya-sama and Mushoku Tensei, this huge boost is best paired with a hard removal ability such as a clock kick on Shirogane or a stock kick with help from the Lilia level 0. Noel is no different, and Flair's level 0 resonance package can allow Noel to fulfill the same role, getting absolutely gigantic and permanently getting rid of your opponent's biggest threat. While this Flair Noel resonance package isn't regarded as a top tier pick, if you're a big fan of Flair and Noel, this pair might be a worthy addition to your deck. On the other side of the coin, we have a tip for Flair. Flair's level 1 combo is typically rated on the lower end of Hololive's level 1 combos, but it has a lot going for it. She can passively reach a respectable 6k power, being boosted even further for each copy of the Noel Brainstorm you have on stage. Her combo doesn't offer great selectivity, only letting you grab the top card of your deck, but this lets you dig closer to the next climax to trigger it and gain extra benefits. Additionally, her combo lets you pay out any triggered climaxes using the Twin Drive portion of the effect, to make sure that they're not getting stuck in your stock. We recommend running Pants climaxes alongside Flair, so you can get back another choice climax to try to go for another combo next turn, since she's naturally large and has a decent chance of surviving combat. Additionally, running the Pekora combo lets you pick it up off of the choice trigger from Flair's own climax, so that you can defend your Flairs to last until the next turn. Marine's level 3 combo is a fairly standard burn finisher, but her on-play effect is pretty unique. By sacrificing one of your other characters, you can dig through the top 3 cards of your deck, put one of them in your hand, one of them into stock, and the last one into your waiting room. Obviously, you could combine this with the level 0 Pekora we mentioned earlier, but comboing this with other on-death abilities can also yield some interesting results. For example, sacrificing this level 0 Mio activates her on-death discard climax to salvage ability. If you find an extra climax within Marine's top 3 check, you can then use Mio's effect afterwards, discarding that extra climax to grab a character you need from your waiting room, such as another copy of Marine. Lastly, we have Rushia. Rushia's trial deck level 3 usually follows a very standard line of play. Bring out one copy via the level 2 Flare assist, then use the climax combo to bring out a second Rushia from your waiting room. Then, on subsequent turns, assuming your Rushias live, you can go for more climax combos and get a bunch of hand. However, if you have 2 copies of Marine's trial deck level 3 in your waiting room, you can go for a pretty cool heal loop play. Use a Rushia to call out a Marine, activating her heal effect since it works when she's called out by Rushia's effect. Then, you can use a second Rushia to play a second Marine on top of the first one, getting another heal. Then, if you have a third Rushia, you can play Marine on top of Marine one more time, yielding 3 heals in total. Gen 4 revolves around building tons of resources for an explosive late game, commonly using climaxes like Stock Soul and Choice. One such explosive late game option is the 4th gen event from their trial deck, allowing you to deal 4 damage twice, although for a hefty cost. Another devastating finisher option in the Gen 4 deck is the level 3 Coco. She heals on play, gains additional power during your turn, and has an on-reverse climax combo. When she reverses her opponent, you can pay a cost of 1 stock and 1 hand up to 5 times. Then, depending on how many times you paid that cost, you repeat the following effect up to 6 times in a row. Your opponent mills the bottom 3 cards of their deck, and if there was a climax among those 3 cards, you deal 1 damage to your opponent. This effect is at its best when your opponent has a small deck with a lot of climaxes still in it, but it can actually help your opponent if they don't have any climaxes left in their deck at all, so use it wisely. Also note that if you do not pay the cost at all, you still get to resolve the effect 1 time. A perfect companion for Coco is, of course, Kanata. Since just a single copy of Coco can bring a lot of destructive potential, it's important to make sure that you can secure that single reverse. Kanata only has 1 effect, but it's actually a choice of 3 different effects in one. Discarding a card to heal to stock is useful for survivability, and global 1k power and +1 soul is great if you need a bit of extra push and don't have a climax. However, the ability that synergizes best with Coco is the ability to draw 1 card and then choose one of your opponent's characters, and the opponent cannot use any events or backups during that character's battle. This lets you ensure Coco's ability will go through, and you can go in for a devastating finish. Next up is Watame, Simu's favorite Hololiver. She has a powerful early play level 3 that can send one of your opponent's front row characters to the bottom of their deck. Similar to the Ayame level 3 we looked at earlier, this can be a devastating hit to your opponent's mid-game board and can help you turn the game in your favor. You do have to hit a top check in order for this effect to work though, so combine Watame with cards that let you verify the top card of your deck, such as the level 0 Korone runner, who lets you look at and rearrange the top 2 cards of your deck when she's placed on stage from your hand. For Towa, we have a powerful level 1 option from the trial deck, a card profile that we commonly refer to as a time machine. Time machine refers to characters that leave the field until the start of your next turn, guaranteeing that you have a card to use, and the term is named after Time Machine Miku from the Project Diva set. Towa is a great card to use because she works with any climax. If you do not draw the correct climax for your level 1 combo, Towa allows you to still get some card advantage using her ability. However, if you do get the correct climax, Towa allows you to extend your advantage lead even further than you would normally be able to, potentially putting you in a great position moving forward. Lastly, we have Luna. Being 0 years old, she has a unique flavor among many of her cards in Weiss Schwarz in that they become level 0 characters while on the stage. This is actually considered a drawback normally, and is compensated by having higher power than other cards of the same level and cost. Part of the downside of being a level 0 is that opposing characters can side attack them without suffering any soul penalties. However, this level 3 Luna handles this problem quite nicely, since the character facing her cannot declare a side attack. Combined with her massive 11,500 power, she can easily defeat her opposition and follow it up with an on-reverse burn to boot. Consider bringing her out at level 2 using a standby climax, and let her carry you into the endgame while simultaneously being a huge annoyance for your opponents. Finally, we have Gen 5. This generation strategy revolves around sending cards to memory to turn on various power-ups and conditions. There are various level 0s that can be sent to memory to fulfill these memory conditions, like the trial deck Nene level 0. However, the level 1 Polka is a powerful card that can allow you to get other cards into memory. When placed on stage from your hand, by paying 1 stock, you can bring out any cost 0 character from your waiting room, giving you an extra body to attack with. At the end of the turn, if that character is still on the stage, it gets sent to memory. This is a powerful effect that we've seen in other sets, such as Tensura, where it's a very popular card used in the Shizu or 8 choice builds. One great target to use this card with in Hololive is the level 1 Towa we mentioned earlier. Normally when you play the Polka, you don't get to keep the character that you called out from the waiting room, since it'll either go to memory permanently, or back into the waiting room if it gets reversed. However, by bringing out the Towa and playing a climax, you can use her time machine effect to reuse her for free on the following turns. Using Polka even lets you bypass the color requirement for Towa, in case you're using a deck that doesn't utilize green. Next up we have Lamy. Her level 1 combo from the trial deck gives her the ability to bounce herself and one of your other characters back to your hand when she gets front attacked, assuming she's able to secure a reverse. This is a great way to reuse some powerful on-play abilities. One great character that you can pair her with is the Rushia level 1. She has an on-play ability to sacrifice one of your other characters to reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's a character, you add it to your hand. And she also has an on-attack power pump ability to help Lamy get the reverse for her combo. You can also throw the Pekora level 0 into the mix, comboing her with Rushia to make her on-play effect get you a +1 instead of just a break even. If you can secure 2 Lamy combos, you can use one of them to bounce Rushia and the other to bounce Pekora, and then reuse both of their effects the following turn to get massive amounts of card advantage. Nene's level 3 combo can be a bit tricky to use, since it requires milling a level 1 or higher card in order to deal 3 damage. If you mill a level 0 card, the combo does nothing. Because of this, it's important to pair Nene with cards that can verify the top card of your deck and make sure you don't miss, such as the Polka level 1 or level 2 Lamy, both of which come in the trial deck. One possible setup is having 2 Nenes, a Polka, and Lamy in the back row. Use Lamy's effect during your main phase, resting her to rearrange the top 2 cards of your deck and verifying that the first Nene will get her burn successfully. After the first Nene has attacked, go with Polka next, using her effect to rearrange the top 2 cards of your deck yet again, and verify that the top card will be a valid hit for your second copy of Nene. Finally, we have Botan. Botan's trial deck level 3 gives a 1500 boost to all of your Hololive characters, including herself, as long as she's in the front row. Getting her out as early as possible allows you to quickly dominate the board, and this can be achieved with either a standby climax or the level 2 Nene, also from the trial deck. At the beginning of the encore step during a turn Nene was front attacked, you can pay the cost and place the Botan straight from your hand onto the board. You can even achieve this as early as level 1 by using a standby climax to bring out the Nene early as well, similar to the Roboco and Sora that we looked at earlier in the video. And that concludes today's video. The booster set officially releases in English in just a couple days, and hopefully you all learned a thing or two in today's video to help you prepare for the release. Of course, be sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for upcoming Hololive content, and feel free to leave any questions down in the comment section below. This has been Randall, aka Shizukats, on the Tresses Collectibles channel, and we'll see you next time, guys. Bye!